I'm right here, yeah.
I'm surprised there's still people here.
All right, everyone good to go?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, we welcome the University of Southern California head coach Lindsay Gottlieb, Rhea Marshall, Mackenzie Forbes, and Kayla Padilla. Coach will let you open, and then we will take questions.
Best day ever. I just first want to say how much gratitude I have for the Pac-12 conference. I mean, it has meant everything to my professional career. Whew, sorry. I thought the tears were done. Quite honestly, it's meant almost everything to my personal life. You know, I met my husband while coaching at Cal. Like, it's been all I've known professionally, and for a New York kid, it is meaningful to me to get the championship in the last one in this iteration of what it looks like. It's also meaningful to me. Like, I don't know that I'd be in coaching if it wasn't for Tara and people like her who did it when there was no money and none of this. They paved the way for us. So those things are significant to me, and I feel like I need to say that. But most importantly, this is the best day ever because this group that I really love and admire so much got to celebrate. You don't always get that. Everyone puts the work in and everyone tries to do their best job, but to see the confetti falling and to see them have success at this level, it is beyond words, it is beyond belief. So that's the emotion of it. From a game plan standpoint, I mean, Tara'd and came out with a defense that I have never seen. Again, you have to credit Juju that there was not one, not two, not three, not four, but five people around her because of the respect they have for her. And we found a way because we know that we're a true team. And I think you can't account for the type of winner that she is, and she's going to figure out the best way to win. And these people up here stepped up, as we know that they would. We out-rebounded them by 20. Rhea, we gave up 6 offensive rebounds only to Stanford. That's wild. We weathered every storm. Kenzie made huge shots. Rhea's been a beast this entire tournament. KP took the task of locking up jump and also making big shots for us. So it was a complete team win. And I'm really proud and I'm really happy for this group right here.
Thank you, Coach. We'll start in the back. Willie.
Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. Kenz, I have 2 for you. One is, it seemed like from jump, maybe feeding off Lynn's comment about the defense they threw, it seemed as if you were bringing the ball up court. When you were in control of the offense, you were putting people in their place, and it seemed like you read into that the ball needed to stay away from Juju immediately because of what they were doing. Did you see something right from the jump? Because it seemed like you took control from jump.
I wouldn't say that I saw the ball needed to be away from Ju, but I do think, like Coach G said, like Tara was going to Tara. I knew that they would come with something, considering the last game. So I just tried to be advantageous where I could and be aggressive. I tell KP every game, like both of us have to be aggressive as the other 2 lead guards because we never really know what they're going to throw at Ju. But yeah, I mean, I just knew I had to be aggressive from the start if we were going to have a chance to win the game. So just try to get people where they needed to be. Ju is, when she doesn't have the ball, she's a great full floor spacer because they have to just be attached to her body. So I think that opened up things for me a lot as well.
And then finally, just a quick follow-up. You got emotional talking to Holly on stage. I know you started your career with Lynn's, go to Harvard and come back. Just overall emotion and sort of full circle what today means.
It's truly unbelievable. I mean, I literally, when the confetti was falling, I was like, I said to G, I was like, am I dreaming, bro? Like, it's just unreal. I've been through a lot in my career, but I've never wavered and never stopped believing in myself and my capabilities. It just feels really good to get this win and to play well and to do under Coach G. It's such a full circle moment. She always believed in me since I was 15 years old. So to be able to win this championship with her is the greatest feeling in the world. I'm just so appreciative of her. She's more than a basketball coach to me. She's a mentor. She's someone that I look up to. She inspires me. And it's just been incredible to be on this journey with her.
Thank you. We're going to go Alexa, Michelle, and then second row.
Alexa Philippou, ESPN. Lindsay, you've spoken all year about how this team is so much more than just Juju. Did that make like the game like today even more gratifying that you all were able to do it? Everyone stepping up in bigger ways when she was having, not her best night.
Yeah, I mean, I said to them at some point, so I'm going to move this a little bit. I'm not sure we win this game 2 months ago, if this is how it happens, right? Or 6 weeks or 8 weeks ago, because we've had to grow and learn. This entire team's been sort of has embraced her so much, and the way we kind of play. And my vision, the dream, is that you got to figure it out. You got to pick your poison. What are you going to take away? I felt like we wouldn't have won that game at Stanford, even with her 51, if we didn't have the bigs to battle and other people to hit open shots. And now, when they tried to completely take her away, Rhea's making plays one-on-one, and Kenzie and Padilla are hitting shots. And how about Caleb Williams coming in and making 2 gigantic threes? And we can go to KD in the post. Like, that's what we are at our best. We certainly haven't been at our best in every single game all year. Nobody is. But the growth towards that and the messaging of, hey, if they do this, we have this. If they crowd the floor here, we've got shooters. Or, let the post eat when it's time. And I just think, I credit all of them for really believing in that. From the beginning, and we needed it today. We don't win a championship today without being able to rely on everything that is truly our team.
Michelle?
Oh, over here on the side, Shell Smith from the next. Ray, I'm going to start with you, and then Lindsay, I have a question for you. Ray, you guys didn't really let them back in this game. They did not get closer than 8 points in the second half, and there was probably an expectation from everybody in the gym that Stanford was going to make a run at you and tighten up this game. How did you hold them off the way you did?
Well, when we woke up this morning, we were excited. We were all screaming it's championship game day. So for us, we came in, we had the momentum, and honestly, we didn't let it back. We didn't fall down. And I'm looking at the rebound count, and we just did what the game plan was. We out-rebound them, we outran them, and honestly, it's like a feeling when you want to win. We have this we just have our adrenaline going. We're just super excited to be out there playing. We were grateful. We were picked 6 in the conference, so to come out and beat a top seed by 13 is just it's fight on.
And then, Lindsay, I want to ask you, did you prep Juju for what you thought Tara might Tara in this case?
I mean, I've long learned I shouldn't try to outsmart Tara or outtake her, right? She's going to do something. But I thought there could have been a number of things, right? I thought we might have seen almost exactly the same as what we saw at Stanford. Because they might have rolled the dice and said she's not going to do that again, right? And if they just score more or something, I thought maybe that. Then there was a clip where on College Game Day today, Cam says we're going to trap or double more, and actually it turned into it wasn't hard traps. It wasn't Arizona traps where we're blitzing. It was 2 or 3 kind of shadowing her all the time. I thought they might play some zone. So we tried to prepare the entire team for it. It might be this or this or this. This was a little different than I even saw. I think the closest thing we saw to it earlier in the year was UW, but these guys are so much longer and more athletic. So it took us a while to figure out on the fly, but while we, as coaches, were trying to figure it out, I do think the players just made plays, right? At one point, KP seemed really open, and we're like, shoot it, right? We tried to get because they pulled their bigs away from the basket in this tandem zone. Rhea and KD were just eating on the boards a little bit. And I thought when given the opportunity, Rhea goes 5 for 10, right? She made shots in the paint and finished. So we were trying to navigate it on the fly. And I thought, again, what you can't account for with Ju, no matter what you try to take away from her, is she's a winner. So she's going to kind of figure out what needs to be done to win. And the rest of the players also, I think, just were confident enough. No one looked rattled. I felt slightly rattled in terms of okay, how can I help them? Because it looked so different. But the players were all confident. I think Rhea makes a good point, and I hope we stay this way. I think we had no pressure on us. I think we have played with all the joy in the world, but the urgency of what a championship game feels like, and I think that was to our advantage.
Second row here.
A couple things. Luke Evans, Orange County Register. Mackenzie, just firstly, you've seen a lot of things in this game. Had some tough shooting nights over the past, month or so, but you came out, clearly the confidence was there from tip. You hit the, too small, can't guard me, variety of those things. I mean, Just for you, where does that confidence come from? What was your mentality just going into this? You talked about the aggression, but just the sheer kind of confidence that you play with.
Yeah, I think I've always been that way. Just growing up, I have 3 older brothers, and so my whole life I've been punching up. So nothing really scares me. And I think as far as the shooting, like, yeah, I had a couple rough shooting nights, probably like the last weekend of Pac-12 play, and then even like the start of this tournament. But I never lose confidence because I know that my work is what it is. Whether I shoot well or I don't, my workouts are the same the following week. So I just try to, tell myself, keep shooting. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't really change my mindset. But I knew that I had to be aggressive tonight, obviously considering the game plan that Tara laid out, if we were going to, like, have a chance. So I just try to be aggressive, and, I think the work always shows.
And Lindsay, just to go through the gauntlet of bigs that you have in the Pac-12, 2 nights after, double overtime win. I mean, what Rhea did, what Clarice did, what, KD did. I mean, just what does it say about the heart that this kind of front court plays with?
I wouldn't trade our trio for anyone. They are warriors. I think, we saw it the last weekend of Pac-12 where Rhea played like 45 minutes in a double overtime game and wanted to press at the end. Like she was juicy. Really impressed. I think they buy into themselves as a group, right? And we needed that. We needed that to win a championship because of how good Stanford's front court is as well. They give us a dimension and a weapon that people probably don't talk about enough. And yeah, they play the way that we need them to play. Like, they're so athletic and buy into game plans and hard to score on. And when we're also out rebounding people, I don't know, I don't know that that's the level we need to be at to be as good as we can be.
Okay, I've got 2 back here, and then we're going to go second row back there. Willie, go ahead.
KP, Lindsay talked about playing with no pressure. I tend to think, just listening to the broadcast throughout the tournament, right, paying attention to what they're saying. They talk about the front court. They're talking about Juju. It's almost like you're the forgotten starter, and you don't have, so to you, it's like there's no pressure. You just come out there and do your job, and whether it's defense, whether it's a timely shot. So 2-part question for you. Do you kind of just feel like that? Like, they got the spotlight, I'm cool with that. And Linz, how critical is her play, which people don't actually maybe give her the respect for?
You want to go first, KP?
Sure. I mean, I'm just here to win. So if I play 0 minutes or 40 minutes, I don't care if I'm the star of the broadcast or if no one mentions my name. Like, this is
She's a
what it's
star in
all
my
about.
heart.
This is what it's all about. So I don't care if I'm the forgotten star or whatever, but
Sorry, this is.
Yeah.
A lot of people can say it, they live it, they really live it. We just have a group that has, I think, embraced what this year has been about, and to do something special as a group. But, I mean, make no mistake, Kayla Padilla is not forgotten in our locker room, in our game plans, in our huddles. I mean, she's coming from a place where she was a leading scorer for 4 years. So while we have selfless people who play roles, they are hoopers. And when it's their turn to step up, they step up like they're an All-American, because that's what it is. And look, now the tension's on everybody, right? Because we're winners and we're champions. And so we sometimes want her to even be more aggressive in terms of hunting her own thing. But I think that the steadiness and the ability to say, okay, you're not going to guard me. I'm going to go 3 for 6 from 3. Or, okay, I'm going to get to the free throw line. It's unbelievable. I thought today that her number one thing besides hitting the shots was the job she did on Hannah Jump. We knew, that Kiki and Cam alone with our bigs weren't going to be able to do it. They had to get a third scorer, and it had to be probably from the 3-point line, and she just did a tremendous job on Hannah Jump. So
If I could just add to that, too, it's not hard to get only 6. I mean, it's not easy to get only 6 shots in the game and be expected to go 50% from 3. Like, when you're getting only 4 to 5 shots, you go 1 for 5, everyone's like, oh my God. Like, to me, like, that is a really, really extremely hard role that we don't overlook. And, like, for someone who came from the Ivy League, tortured me in the Ivy League last year, averaging 18 a game, like, the selflessness that she is, I have never had such a selfless teammate, like, in my life. Like, to come here and frickin' chase Hannah Jump around for 40 minutes, chase London Jones around for 40 minutes, and she might not even, after 15 minutes of that, maybe get 1 shot in the corner, and she's going to sink it every time, and I have that faith in her. I just think it's incredible, and I don't think that's an easy job at all.
Okay, we've got one here, and then LA Times in the second row, and then we'll come back to this side.
Congratulations, ladies. D'Angelo Scruggs, FI360. This is for you, Coach. Just talking about how everyone stepped up in a role, how much do you think this has prepared you guys for going into the tournament?
I think it's we're playing our best basketball now because we've seen every game plan possible in the Pac-12, and we've seen gigantic teams, and then we've seen teams that play a more guard-like four-player. Like, we've seen everything, and throughout it, I said from the beginning, we were a new team together, right? Like, Rhea really and Kay Will, kind of the returning people who played a ton last year, but all kinds of new pieces. And I said the whole year, if our growth trajectory could be steeper than everybody else's, we'll end up where we want to be. So I think we should go in with a lot of confidence to the NCAA tournament that whatever they throw at us, we have something to counter that, but without losing our humility and our sense of urgency that it's another one-and-done tournament. And you know, there's things that we want to accomplish in front of us, so we can't lose the mentality of being the hungriest team, the team playing with a chip on our shoulder, no matter where they seed us. But I do think confidence will be at a high.
LA Times.
Taking to win with the LA Times, Kayla. Lindsay was just saying, maybe a few weeks ago you guys don't win this game because of this game plan. I was so focused on stopping Juju. So what has been like the biggest growth in terms of what you guys needed to do to learn how to gel together, step up in those types of moments?
Yeah, I just think we've been battle tested. I mean, you look at our schedule, we are playing the toughest teams in our conference almost twice, and not a lot of other teams can say that. So I think, you know, having gone through these double overtime games, learning how to overcome adversity together and be in these tough situations, you kind of learn as you go through it, and, you know, not a lot of teams get that. So I think we just credit sort of our togetherness from the beginning, our belief in what we can do, and I think that just shows through, and we're going to continue to do that through the rest of the season.
Eden in the front, and then we'll go here.
Eden Lassie, Yahoo Sports. Lindsay sat up here the other day and said you were kind of the piece that started everything for this team. What did you see back then that led you to believe that this was possible?
Man, Coach G, like, just look at her. I remember my freshman year, we were pissed leaving home the first round. Last year, same thing, first round, to this year now having a bye. And just the growth in the program, like, a lot of people don't see behind closed door what Coach G does. But I mean, from our strength coach to making sure she's keeping our locker room beautiful to making sure we have security around Galen. It's just a culture shift that she brought to SC. And I just feel like little things like that it's a reflection of our success on the floor to now. Literally, we just won a Pac-12. She just won the last Pac-12 championship. I mean, it's major. It's everything. So shout out Coach G.
Okay, second row or first row there.
Will Simons, Annenberg Media. Coach Gottlieb, you know, Stanford was down by 8 in both of their previous games. You know, down 8 to Cal, down 8 to Oregon State, and then outscored both those teams a combined 43-18 in the third quarter. What was the halftime message, knowing that Stanford has been there before this tournament and that they were going to, you know, assuredly have something in them?
Yeah. I mean, the pregame message was like, never get off the treadmill, right? Like, we got to keep going, keep pushing. We've had the last 2 games, we've started out really hot and then kind of got pushed back a little bit. So we wanted to just keep going, but it was really to continue to lock in on defense, right? And try to figure out the offense a little bit and help them be as comfortable as possible. But it was really just, we're playing for a championship. You know, we can't take the foot off the gas. We got to continue to be aggressive, continue to win in the trenches, you know, and battle. We knew they would make a run. Like Kenzie said, I was kind of looking it up, being like, oh my gosh, there's only 5 minutes left, you know, 4 minutes left. Like,
4 minutes,
yeah.
4 minutes to 1 minute was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we obviously have a ton of respect for what they're capable of, but we also knew that we have the pieces to be able to continue to battle, and I thought we did a good job of still being aggressive and scoring on offense when we needed to get stops as well.
Okay, we're going to go first row here, and then Alexa, Jeff, and then Sabrina, and then we'll come back to Luca.
Thomas Johnson, Daily Trojan. Any of the players can chime in on this one, but I'll throw it to you first, Rhea. You already mentioned it. Picked 6 to finish in the conference, betting underdog against UCLA, betting underdog against Stanford. How does it feel to not only win, but kind of prove a lot of people wrong while doing it?
Oh, my gosh. Where do I even start? I mean, I just feel like starting with ourselves. I feel like we owed it to ourselves every day in and day out, like just grinding. We're locked in on scout. We're having scout, watching film twice a day. And then I told our double back there, I told him, we're in Vegas. Anything is possible. Like, literally, a guy after the game was like, you guys just won me $10,000. Like, no one had you in it. I said, fight on. So, I mean, I'm just really anything. I mean, it's just the magic of being competitive and wanting to win, and we did just that.
Alexa.
Lindsay, was there a moment throughout the season or even recently where it really kind of dawned on you that this team could be capable of winning a championship? And if I could also add a quick one after that. For Aaliyah Gales to bring home a championship, I saw her waving the USC flag, back home in Vegas. What does that mean to you all to see her be able to celebrate, and what does she mean to the team too?
I mean, Aaliyah means everything to us. Championship or no championship, I mean, her life is just a gift to me. Like, it's hard not to be inspired every day that I see her. She's just so giving and energetic. I mean, she's hugging me saying, like, thank you so much. I'm like, thank me. Like, you're such a huge part of this. So that's obviously hugely gratifying. Just to see the joy of everyone, but knowing what she's been through for her to be home in Vegas and be part of a championship team, that's what it's about. I know, like, we look at the stats and who's doing this, right, but we are a team all the way through. Otto doesn't get on the court much, but she's just a part of this, if not more, in terms of changing the culture. Same with Aaliyah and all the way down the way. In terms of a moment, could we win a championship? Definitely early on, I was like, oh, we've got some pieces, right? Like, I think, Ju stepped into workouts. I think I can speak for all of us. Like, she was a little better than any of us even expected, right?
Yeah.
I think the way they bought into Coach Kelly Dormandy, and got, I don't know if you can see it, Rhea's in way better shape even than last year, which makes her better at everything. And then when we see what we had with our grad transfers, and the chemistry has always been there. So I think we started to think, okay, we're capable, we're capable of things. Then I would say in terms of moments, it is the way that we've responded to adversity. We're not undefeated. I mean, shoot, not like we have a ton of losses, but every time that we've hit something, we've tried to figure it out together. And I think those are the moments that I'm like, okay, maybe we're special as a group. And then, we've been, I'd never watched film on teams in this league going, oh, they're not as good as people think. I'm watching film on UCLA going, they're really good. We got to find out a way to win. Watching film on Stanford, they're really good. We got to find a way to win. Oregon State. And each and every time we put in a game plan and we said, here's what it's going to take, they've done it. And if we haven't done it, we look and say, here, this is where and they're like, oh, okay, we got that the next time. And that, I think, is what has allowed us to believe that we could be really good. Some of the outside validation of these other people saying, oh, wow, you look like the toughest team in the league, or now you look like you have multiple pieces. And, I mean, Rhea's had 4 double-doubles in our last 5 games. Obviously we know what the rest of our guards bring, along with how spectacular Ju's been. That's, I think, built up for all of us this belief of what we're capable of. And still nothing's guaranteed. And so the way that we come out here and fight, again, it's the joy and it's the urgency together that I said we really want to go into postseason, and they've manifested that and lived it out, and that's just really cool for me to see.
All right, Jeff.
Jeff Metcalf, Pac-12 Hotline. For Lindsay, the rebounding was a big differential, but also I wanted to ask you about the 21 points off turnovers.
Yeah.
Because that was a big part of this too. And then for the Ivy League transfers, if you could just reflect a little more on the decision you made to transfer, and just sort of the validation and kind of emotions that you're feeling right now to possibly be looking at a number 1 seed.
I would say the points off turnovers, they didn't turn it over a lot. We only turned them over 11 times, but the 21 points, I can't maybe speak for them, but they must have been our team must have been so happy that we're playing in transition off a turnover and not seeing that kind of wild defense that we're like, let's be aggressive and score out of it. But we did a really good job of turning their limited turnovers into points. I think that was really important.
Yeah, I think we took our official visit together, and like I said, I always had a lot of respect for her game, and was super excited about the prospect of playing with her. I kind of knew going into the visit that I was going to commit, so I was kind of trying to rile her up. But no, it's just crazy. We were just talking with KD the other day. None of us have won an Ivy League tournament championship, and to be able to do it here, all 3 of us together. I mean, you couldn't have written this better. I think it's just the greatest feeling in the world, and to do it with them too. They're just such great teammates. I love playing with them. I never would have thought that I'd be hugging Caitlin Davis, holding the trophy with her last year at this time. But just super grateful that we've had this experience together, and they've made the transition a lot easier for me.
Yeah, I'll just echo. Like, I turned to Katie after we won, and she was like, "Who would have thought?" And that's like the sort of the narrative of the season. But I mean, like, yeah, this time last year, we were at the tournament, and I was wondering if I was ever going to go dancing in my life. And now I'm here going dancing and winning a Pac-12 championship and doing it, you know, with competitors turned friends. And it's been like a full circle moment for everything, being back home for me, like playing with Kayla Williams. I played with her in high school, played against Rhea in high school. It's just been such an awesome moment. But again, like, not done yet. We've got to finish the job.
Great. We're going to go Sabrina, then Luca, then right there.
Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic. First of all, I just want to say how cool the two of you look. It's just, it's a good look. It's really good. For Kenzie, the game against UCLA was so physical. The game against Arizona was so physical. And I'm just wondering how you guys were able to get into such a good flow in this one. And you, just after that, like, you're, I would say, one of the chattier people on the court most of the time. And you kind of just, like, felt like all business today, if I'm not reading into that too much. Just what went into that mindset?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like, Arizona and UCLA are a load, like, defensively. So I don't want to sound arrogant when I say this, but, like, to go from UCLA and Arizona and then to be guarded by Stanford, like, it's a lot different. Like Coach G said, it's a little bit more saggy. They're not going to, like, come, like, take the ball out of your hands and trap you. Like, so I felt like, for me personally, that helped me get in my flow, because it was kind of like, oh, like, I have a little bit of space and, like, a breath of fresh air when I catch the ball, and I can get open on the wing by just, like, asking for it, you know. So that helped me get into my flow. And then, yeah, I'm always chatty. I don't know. And when I'm making shots, it gets worse. So. But no, just trying to lead today, I think, was my number one goal, in making sure that we don't, you know, lose our focus for not one single possession. I mean, literally, like, I yelled at Rhea with like 24 seconds. I was like, it's not over. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting to your question about getting in the flow in the legs. So obviously we're playing 3 games in 4 days, and they're, like you said, they were physical games, people playing a lot of minutes. I actually thought to myself in warm-ups, like, we've had some trouble on the noon games on Sunday when we've played on Friday. And I credit the mentality of our players, like, they just wouldn't be denied. I also credit the round-the-clock training staff stuff. After the UCLA game, Rhea got the ice bath and the leg thing, what do you call it?
Yeah,
Normatex, and at like 1 in the morning, right? Because that's when it was. Like, they were just really committed to the mission, which was, like, got to get ourselves ready to go, because there's no excuses on a championship Sunday. You just got to go. But I looked at us, and I'm like, oh, we're really bouncy. And I think our players, coaches are always going to give messages. Coaches are always going to give game plans. But it's up to them to, you know, bring it to life. And the way that they brought this thing to life, I can't credit them enough for being in the right mind space and doing it together.
Kenzie, you said last week just how kind of excited you were for this team to be on a national stage and show what you can do in that respect. And you know, you guys might still feel like underdogs, but at this point, you know, you've won the Pac-12. You're probably going to earn a number 1 seed. But so what are you excited to just kind of put your stamp on and prove to people on that national scale in March Madness?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is obviously we're gonna enjoy this and celebrate this, but once March Madness starts, it's a whole nother tournament, and I still think we as a group have felt like the entire year that, like, no one is gonna give us any respect. We're gonna have to go grab. Even coming to this game, I was like, we're gonna have to take it from them, you know. And I think it's the same mentality for March. Like, no one's gonna. We didn't think anyone was gonna hand us a number 1 seed or even a 2 or a 3 seed. We went and won the games we needed to win. So I think it's the same mentality for March. Like, we have smoke for anyone in front of us, and we're here to win. So I don't think it changes at all.
Here, second row.
Amadi Cowie, USCFootball.com. So y'all started the season across the street at T-Mobile, and you guys upset Ohio State. And Lindsay, you said, I knew from our 30 practices that we have something special. We were able to work on what they really do in the press, and you guys establish yourself. from that point to this point, what growth have you seen, and how does it feel to be in this position,
Yep.
winning the Pac-12 tournament title?
I mean, that game was unbelievable. Like, I do think we had an advantage in the sense of they were returning an Elite Eight team, and almost everybody, and they added, really big piece in Celeste Taylor. So I felt like we had more of a scout because he didn't know who we had or what we were doing, right? And so I thought that we really, the number of times I said Ohio State in the first 30 practices was a lot, and we were ready and they showed out. But we've grown a ton. I mean, I remember Drew picked up fouls and sat, and they went on a 14-0 run, and now I think there's just been, everyone's kind of flown into our identity more so. I just think we've grown in a lot of ways because we've gone through a Pac-12 schedule that challenges you. It challenges you emotionally. It challenges you physically. It challenges you game plan-wise. And that's where I think we've responded to every adversity. We've challenged individuals to step up, to get better, to own their stuff, to figure it out together. And I think, we're a better team because of that. But it is full circle to come here. I can't put into words how gratifying this is. The number one thing as a coach that is the most fun and the most joyous is to watch your players celebrate. It is. Like, I just get a lot of joy from that.
Willie in the back.
I want to piggyback off that question. Ray, I want to take it back even further when we were all at Park MGM Media Day.
Oh, God.
And you sat up there on that stage and we're talking about the transfers and the new look and Juju, and you were just so confident about how the team had come together, during workouts and those practices. And you talked about they're going to see. They're going to see. You talked about being maybe it was Mackenzie mentioned, being picked sixth. But I just remember your demeanor going from interview to interview and then sitting on that stage and talking to us and how confident you were in the bonds and relationships that had been built heading into the season. Have you reflected on that? Do you remember that? And kind of what did you see?
For sure. So just thinking back on that moment, I actually remember that. Like, I was excited. I mean, my teammates, from the moment I met them, like, I knew Coach G had went and recruited dogs. Like, all these girls, we compete. That's what we came here to do. And so now it's like a full circle moment being here, and I just seen it for ourselves. I knew we were capable of winning games. I mean, a Pac-12 championship, jeez, we were picked six. Who would ever thought that? Yeah. Not even a guy that just won $10,000 because of us. But we're here now, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my teammates. I'm grateful for Coach G.
Two final questions, front row this side, and then one more over here.
Kayla, about a month back, I asked you about the prospect of hosting an NCAA tournament game at Galen Center. That's kind of now a reality. Just how excited are you for that?
Man, we're all so excited. We're just excited to go back home, and Galen Center has been such an electric place for this entire season to sort of amp up what it means to be a women's basketball player in the city of Los Angeles. I think we're, taking that to a new level, so I'm excited for fans to be able to, we get to experience this, but it's a sort of a collective experience, so we're really happy to bring it home and hopefully give them 2 more wins to celebrate at Galen.
Front row.
Isabel Gonzalez, CBS Sports. Coach, you've talked about the importance of the Pac-12 in your personal life and your career. Do you remember your very first Pac-12 game and, what was going through your mind? And how do you want people to remember this conference?
Well, if you throw it all the way back when I was an assistant at Cal, I think it was our first year there, so I was like 27. Joanne Boyle, my boss and mentor's father, became ill, and she had to go home for about a week. And it was, of course, the Bay Area rivalry, Stanford Cal. So here I am, like 27 years old, and there's Tara on the other sideline. I was like, oh my goodness. And I do remember we lost that game, but it was close. We had a guard named Alexis Gray Lawson who went off for like 30-something points. So it was crazy. That was my first time as a head coach ever, and my first time head coaching a game in the Pac-12. The conference has just been an unbelievable platform for female athletes, a really special conference in terms of the values and what these schools represent. And there's obviously just, some sadness in terms of this being the last one. At the same time, a lot of pride in us winning the last one as a group. Like I said, this group will be remembered forever for that. These guys will be off running the world or doing whatever they're next, but Ray and I will try and take the next thing to the Big Ten and say, let's be the first, the first ones to win the new Big Ten. And we're excited for those challenges too, but Yeah, there's amazing people working at the Pac-12. This is the first, I think, group of people who really put women's basketball as a priority, and you see the growth of what happened there with our league, and so a lot of pride in terms of being the final champions of this league.
I think that's a good way to close.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
all.
everyone.